I want to go back. Mosky left Kai at his office and waited for his receipt. He didn't feel like he really accomplished anything today, but that was how it usually went. I mean, yeah, therapy's not a one and done thing. Same with how, like, often going to the doctor, it's like, hey, doctor, I have this issue. That it's like, okay, try this, and then, you know, come back as a with a follow-up appointment. We'll check in on your condition, right? It's like, yeah, no, you don't just go to the therapist, just like, yeah, we had a quick little conversation. Anyway, I'm gonna go home now. And you fixed me, right? You fixed me? We're good? This one conversation? People wouldn't need a dedicated therapist if they could just get over their problems with a single conversation, after all. Okay, there we go. I'm glad you at least acknowledged that. And I was like, fuck, I don't feel any better. God, what a waste of fucking time. Mosky sat on a bench and closed his eyes. Michiru? He wakes up to Michiru? Yeah. When he next opened them, he found a familiar stuffed rabbit shoved up in his face. Hell yeah. Behind the rabbit was a bandaged girl in a hospital gown, Michiru Shirosaki.
そりゃすぐに眠ったりはしないぞ。
Michiru took a seat next to Matsuki, stuffed rabbit still clutched dearly in her arms. Michiru simply named their location as though she'd asked the most obvious question in all existence. Matsuki had to exist. She was probably asking if he'd come for a checkup.
まあね。綿貫先生は君も受けているんだろう。
Oh, you mean Kayeye? Yeah, but that's the thing. She's also a sexy screwball, which just makes it even better for me, honestly. You can certainly say that again. See? She's nice to Michiru, alright? I don't give a fuck how she toys with Masaki, alright? I mean, I do. But, like, also, she's nice to Michiru. And as long as Michiru is just like, yeah, she's weird, but she's nice, I'm like, bro, that's all I need to know. Michiru hugged her stuffed rabbit, Carol. Oh, that's nice. Masaki simply kept his silence, knowing that topic wasn't exactly the easiest to spark a conversation out of. Yes. February 6th. Quit. Keep going. See, now after I say, like, oh, I'm gonna take a screenshot the next time that little verse shows up on screen during the transitions. Oh, now we're not transitioning scenes anymore, are we? Now we're just going from day to day. I'll fucking get you. I'll fucking get you. Can't stop me. I'll fucking get you. Took the train to Ueno. My current strategy was to go from place to place and look for Naoda Kuroya in whatever time I could find. The police were doing the same, of course, which meant I had to hunt him from a different tact. I scanned the crowds till I spotted a familiar mop of silver hair. Toji, hell yes. No sooner had she greeted me than did she hand over a stack of documents. I flipped through the documents. I recognized numerous names on the roster. Unfortunately, most of them were either dead or behind bars. I would have just worried Yukari otherwise, and that I couldn't have. Like, so I know there's gonna be some incident, right? There's gonna be some incident that sparks us diving into another case. But I just love how the setup in, like, the introduction to this game is just like, oh yeah, Mosky, you need to go to therapy. Reiji, you could also use some therapy. Reiji, don't forget to take a break every night. Oh, you're right. Don't worry, I'm taking breaks every now and again. I'm looking after my mental health and whatnot, and everything's, even though they're still trying to, like, track down Naori, right? Everything's still kind of like hunky-dory, and they're just like, yeah, no, you know what? We're working through it. We still have an end goal, right? We're still We still have a task we need to complete, but you know what? We're taking time to focus on ourselves, make sure we're okay going into this. It's just like, man, this is so nice. I sure hope nothing tragic happens in the near future that's going to really throw a wrench into all of this. Then again, maybe it was already too late to avoid that. Nevertheless, I had to make the effort to at least go home and get some sleep every single day.
それならいいのだがどうするすぐに回るつもりか
そうだな名簿の人物の消息確認をしながら進めていこうここから近いところに住んでいるのは
Though I didn't imagine I'd find my target right off the bat, I had to get down to business. This was my only hope of saving that girl. See, once again, you're transitioning to the next day. Show me that fucking... show me the Italian. Oski left the agency and headed for the station. He had another day of looking for Naori on the agenda today. That said, his old friend's whereabouts were just as much of a mystery as they'd been 2 weeks ago. Some things never change, I suppose. Naori always had been the best in their group at hide and seek. The hiding part, anyway. What's more, he'd often hide in unexpected spots. That place is hard to find. And what would be more unexpected than Shinjuku, the heart of Tokyo? I wasn't even getting into how it certainly wasn't short of places to lie low, considering it once housed a black market. Okay, but you're gonna work yourself into the unexpected expected paradox, my boy. How unexpected is it until it returns to being expected? Is it truly unexpected if it's the first thing you're expecting, right? It'd be totally unexpected to hide there. But if that's your first place you're expecting to be, then wouldn't it be incredibly expected for him to be there and he'd actually be somewhere else that the general public would first expect, but to you it's unexpected? Like, you're gonna work yourself into a whole bunch of mind games doing that shit. However, Masuki knew he wasn't the man for the job of searching Shinjuku. After all, if he made too much noise, no matter how good his intentions, Naori might find out and make a break for it. Masuki was aware he was just making excuses to himself. Still, it was true he couldn't do anything reckless. All I could do was put faith in the police. Knowing Yaginuma, he would have searched populated districts like these first and foremost. Masuki was approaching Kinokuniya when he suddenly came to a halt outside it. Someone carrying large objects was drawing near. The girl from before? How are they supposed to see with those things blocking their eyes? Masuki moved to the side so they wouldn't collide. I'd recognize the woman passing him as none other than Sei Maizono. Oh no. His former coworker. Oh, are you gonna get romantically involved with her? And then she's gonna brutally die? Is that what's gonna go down? So here's the thing. I do know from reading the synopsis of this game, right, that the whole conflict of this game, it says, actually, I guess I kind of just, now that I actually fully read the synopsis and knowing what I know after reading, like, as far as I have, yeah, okay, I won't say anymore. I might have just unintentionally spoiled myself into what's going to be the first big death in this game, but yeah, no, I won't spoil it for anyone else. If you want to go read the synopsis for yourself and see who it's going to be, because we know at this point now, but Sei stopped and turned to Masaki.
まさきです
Clearly her memory of his name had improved in the 3 days since they'd last met.
なんだかたくさん買い物したんですね
ああ、これ骨董品屋で古い絵がたくさんあったから
古い絵直して売るんですか
Okay, but also, is it spoiling if they tell you it in the synopsis of the game? Is it really a spoiler if they tell you, if they give you a description of a character and then right away they show you that character? I'm just saying there's really no other character to connect the dots to. But I guess I'll keep it to myself, I suppose.
売れないわよ
Wait until it happens and I'll be like,
大正頃の無名の
told ya.
学生が描いた修作だものこれは修復用の画材にするのよ
画材？でも修復には専用の画材を使いますよね。いつでも元に戻せるようにしておくのが原則のはずですから。
中にはそういうのが必要ないとおっしゃるお客様もいるのよ。
それで古い絵や画材ですか。
Art restorers could use coffee and the like to give paintings an old-fashioned appearance. Those were likely the ones treated as so-called antiques.
重そうだから運ぶの手伝いますよ。
悪いそのと言いたいところだけど
Murder?
してもいいかしら。さ
Sai handed some of them over to Masuki. They were swaddled in what appeared to be cloth.
店まで運べばいいんですか？調布だったら京王線で行けますね。
The gallery in question was located a hop, skip, and a jump away from Chofu Station. Okay, you said a hop, skip, and a jump. Why are you taking a train?
ああ、美咲君は知らなかったわね。この前吉祥寺に移ったばかりなのよ。
そうなんですか？
調布じゃあまりお客様も集まらないってオーナーが決めたのよ。
I suppose this stands to reason. The only clientele we ever attracted were people who ran other galleries for the most part.
井の頭街道沿いの
Inokashira. Goddamn,
国
that's
鉄の
fucking
踏切が
nearby.
ある近くなの。
だったら駅からもそう離れていませんね。
Masuki retained his grip on the paintings and headed to Shinjuku Station with Sei. The pair got off at Kichijoji. Gross.
それじゃそのお仕事の手伝い
Very
で
often.
この辺りにはよく来てい
Hey,
たの。
actually, you want to catch up, Sei? I know there's a great coffee spot around here. Also, I want to see Kyoko again. Listen. Alright. Sexy therapist? Phenomenal. Kyoko Hazuki. There's really no beating it. I mean, I could beat it, but there's no beating her.
馴染みにしている店が近くにあるんですよ。
Yes! Take her to the cafe! Masaki, my guy! Masaki didn't mention he was working as a detective. Okay. Not only was it too much of a pain to explain, but he also got the sense that the fewer people knew, the better. I mean, typically, yes, in the detective game.
へえ、今度教えてちょうだいね。
Over coffee?
ええ、それは構いませんよ。
Over coffee? Okay, no, that's okay. They still have to go to the gallery, right? They haven't. They gotta drop the stuff off the gallery, of course. But afterwards, they strolled down Inokashira Street until a shop adorned with a sign, located right next to a railroad crossing, just as Sei had said, came into view. Just as Sei had said, huh? The sign in question read Sasakura Gallery.
あら、出かけているみたいね。
A closed sign hung from the other side of the door. Undeterred, Sei produced a key from her pocket and unlocked the gallery.
どうぞ。
失礼します。
This was Masuki's first time visiting his former employer's new location. However, it felt more or less identical to the original gallery. Though perhaps that was only natural, seeing as how the staff and products remained the same.
そこに置いてくれる？
Masuki nodded, setting the paintings down in the corner Sei had indicated.
オーナー、笹倉さんはどちらに？
どこかしらね。多分取引先だと思うけど。ごめんなさいね。いろいろ言いたいこともあるでしょうに。
いえ、妙な容疑をかけられた人間をクビにするのは当然だと思いますから。
ほんの数ヶ月前のことなのにね。ごめんなさい。
Sei
いいん
bowed.
ですよ、もう。
The whole affair was ancient history now.
お茶入れるからちょっと待ってて。
Sei vanished into the gallery. Masuki settled into a nearby chair and took a look around. Paintings were hanging off the walls. Though they all appeared quite aged, the paintings themselves were vivid and colorful. Sei's handiwork, no doubt. Masuki was also familiar with some of their artists. Unsurprisingly, theirs were the ones priced the highest by far.
お待たせ。
Sei returned with teacups on a
い
tray.
ただきます。
Masuki took a sip of his piping hot tea.
まだ絵は好きなの？
Sei must have noticed him staring at the paintings.
そうですね。好きだと思います。
よかった。
Sei smiled.
オーナーが褒めていたもの。絵を見る目は確かだって。
そうでしたか。
The compliment fell flat on Masuki. He certainly didn't agree with that assessment, at least.
例えばこの絵、どう思う？
Sei pointed to one of the paintings on the wall.
どうと言われても。
From what he could tell, it was just run-of-the-mill landscape painting.
筆の動かし方が一定で波もないし、空もあまり綺麗に塗られているとは思えます。
Muskie evaluated the painting off the top of his head.
それは確かに見る目はあるようだけど。
まさか。
Muskie gave the painting another close look. As he suspected, the corner was signed Kei Sasakura.
自分には絵の才能がないっていうのがあの人の口癖だから。
まあ、それは自分もよく聞いてました。
And yet Sasakura loved art regardless.
そろそろ自分は失礼します。
Muskie set down his cup and got up.
今日はわざわざありがとう。
いえ、このくらいのことでしたら。
Muskie left the gallery following that exchange of gratitude. You gotta take it. Oh, you sons of bitches. You sons of bitches. Let me screenshot the fucking scripture, you sons of bitch. I camped out in a corner of Kichijoji Station Square and watched the passersby come and go. Naturally, all this was part of my plan to find out at Karoya, though I was fully aware of what a shot in the dark it was. At the moment, I was better off looking for friends and acquaintances of his than the man himself. That meant combing through everyone in Blessed Congregation to Hinagami Pharmaceuticals he had ties to, then finding out exactly what terms they were on with him. I skimmed through the Hinagami Pharmaceuticals employee roster once more. Well, listed the people's names and addresses, no photos. Therefore, I'd have to go visit each and every one of them in person.
まあ、今の時期に会ってもらえるとは思っちゃいないが。
Last month's incidents had made bigger waves than expected, resulting in the company's employees getting hounded by cops, reporters, and all sorts of punks. After all that, they probably think detectives were cut from the same cloth. And honestly, they wouldn't be entirely wrong. Still, I didn't think Naoto Kuroya would be anywhere near places where people like his old coworkers, harassers, tend to congregate. He had been closely linked with those incidents, after all. But if he knew his goose was cooked, he could very well cause a ruckus that injured nearby pedestrians unlucky enough to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. I just prayed it didn't come to that. Natsume? Turned around upon hearing that familiar voice to find...
どうも、茅原さん。
Oh! Fumiya! Fuyumi. Fumiya. Fuyumi! Oh, hell yeah, you still look great. But I gotta see your little smirk. You gotta show me the smirk. So I better see your smirk at some point. You better crack a joke at some point so I can see that smirk. The woman was none other than Fuyumi Kayahara, someone who'd been at the heart of last month's incidents. One could almost say she was the heart of the case when considering the other old incidents she was also connected to. True.
女の子の観察ですか?
Yeah, there we go. That little smirk. You shopping for ladies, huh? I wonder if I should admire her for staying so jocular in spite of all the crap she'd been through. That's part of the charm, baby.
仕事ですよ。
知ってますよ.
Amy crouched down till she was eye level with me, a dour pall shrouding her visage. Wait, crouch down till she... Is Reiji sitting? Did he say he was sitting and I just missed that? Uh-huh. What? So he camped out watching people come and go, so I'm guessing he must be sitting somewhere. But also he said over here somewhere that he got up and said hello. And at no point did he say he sat back down. So I'm just curious, is she taller than him? Is she a tall queen? Because obviously that's kind of awesome. If true.
ユキコに会ってきたんです.
Aw.
どうでしたか?
落ち着いているようでした. 取り調べにも素直に応じているようです.
Fuyumi hung her head.
診察してくださったお医者様の話では、当時責任能力が著しく低下していた状態だったろうとのことですが。
Which would be understandable.
それでも、ユキコさんは自ら償いたいとおっしゃったのですか?
ええ。逃げ出してしまった卑怯者の私にはできなかった
Don't
ことです。
talk about yourself like that, queen. Long ago, Fuyumi had once killed someone. Sure did. However, the statute of limitations on that crime had already expired, so a certain punchable superintendent down at the MPD had refused to arrest her even after she confessed. Still, while she'd never been tried for it, her crime would never go away. As such, she probably felt she needed to atone for it.
ユキコの意思を尊重したいのですが、一緒に暮らしていたいというのも私の偽らざる気持ちなんです。
だからミチルを引き取ろうと。
違います。
No, that's because that's her actual daughter, Dick. Bimmy was set off by my inquiry.
二人ともかけがえのない私の娘です。比べることはできません。
申し訳ありませんでした。
Yeah, how dare you? I meekly apologized. At least she wasn't trying to use Michiru as a substitute for Yukiko then.
いえ、こちらこそすみません。往来で。お仕事中でしたら目立たない方がいいんですよね。
その心配はいりませんよ。
ナオリさんですよね。
彼自身がこんな場所に現れるとは思っていませんよ。
Not only was there a police box in the station square, but there were probably uniformed officers on patrol too.
時坂さんが不審者と思われるんじゃないですか？
Though I cheered Huyumi up, it came with a terrible price, becoming the butt of her jokes once again. That is a price I am more than willing to pay.
一応捜査員とは顔を合わせています。
There was an unspoken rule between me and that peacock of a superintendent to keep our noses as far away from each other's business as possible. While that made it hard to get info on surveillance sites, I was just grateful to have free reign to investigate in peace.
東大元暮らしと言いますし、案外近くにいるような気もします。そのくらいわけなくこなせる人ですから。
まあ事実、戦後からつい最近まで身元が割れなかったやつもいますからね。
And he was as dim-witted as they came to boot.
おとなしくというか、普通に生活を送っていれば気づかれないものですよ。
Lumi flashed a sad smile. It was only then that I remembered she'd been in a similar boat herself for over 15 years.
ただ、子連れの男性となると嫌がおうでも目立ってしまいますから。
The simplest way to deal with the dead weight flashed through my head for a moment. No, doubt even he would be so callous.
人に預けている可能性もあるのではないでしょうか。
俺としてはそうあってほしいですね。
I could sleep much easier knowing she was in someone else's hands. I wouldn't be so sure of that.
あの子はナナコさんにこそ
That whole
懐いてい
saying
ました
about the
が、
devil you know and
ナオリ
whatnot.
さんにはあまり懐いていないようでしたからね。
まずは奴の足取りをつかむことが重要です。
Hopefully that'd be easier than usual, considering I actually knew the guy. I wasn't getting my hopes up.
私にもできることがあるのでしたら、協力は惜しみませんよ。
ええ、その時はよろしくお願いします。
でも夜のお相手とかはちょっと。
Damn it! I mean, Tuft. I wouldn't consider it. Come on. We're just buds. Fuck.
必要ありませんから。
No, get your head deeper into the gutter. Dive in it. You're still not showing me the fucking... Show me that fucking Italian bullshit. Show me, you fuck. Sunday morning had arrived. However, I didn't feel like getting up, so I curled back up in my futon and shut my eyes again.
兄さん
Yukari's voice accompanied the unexpected sound of the door opening.
なんだ。
I creaked my eyes open a pinch and looked up at my sister.
具合が悪いのですか？
いや、単に眠いだけだ。
And here I tried to go to bed early last night.
もう少し休んでおられますか？
いや、起きるさ。
I'd spend the whole day in bed if I took her up on that offer. Thus, it was with the greatest of reluctance that I sat up, stretching as far as my limbs would take me.
では、朝食の支度をしておきますので。
I rose to my feet and stowed my futon. From what I could tell, I seemed to be in ship shape. Getting off the floor had expelled the lingering vestiges of sleep from my brain, too. Therefore, I found getting dressed and going to the living room much less of a hassle than actually getting out of bed. Breakfast was already there waiting for me.
なあ、ゆかり。今日は何かあるのか？
何を言ってるんですか？今日は美術館へ行くのでしょ？
そうだったな。
To be fair, I hadn't been asked in person, so it wasn't easy to remember.
本当に大丈夫ですか？
Yukari anxiously contemplated my
寝
face.
すぎてぼーっとしていただけだよ。
So much for not worrying her. But I feel like I failed at that every single time.
お前たちも美術館だろ？ついでだから一緒に行くか。
それは構いませんが、 上野の前に新宿へ寄ってもよろしいですか？
子供じゃねえんだし、時間になったら勝手に来ているだろう。
そういうわけにも参りませんから。
Whatever. Guess we can make a quick stop to grab the nitwit. No skin off my back. Yukari and I linked up with Masuki near Shinjuku Station before setting off for Ueno's one and only Tokyo Metropolitan Art Museum.
開館は何時だ
10時でしょうから、あと少しありますね。
Masuki promptly answered.
それじゃあ待つか。
I had a seat on a nearby bench. Yukari and Masuki flanked me from both sides.
あれか。
Those Savannah reading student art exhibit, proudly decking out the museum.
展示されているのは今日一日だけか。
特別展ですからね。それでもここで自分の絵が見られるのは嬉しいことですよ。
どんな絵を描いたんだ？
内緒ですよ。
That deeply concerned me.
見ればいいと思いますよ。
こちらの用事が何か分かっていないからな。
そうですよね。
Yukari's face visibly deflated.
だから飯なんかもそっちで勝手に食ってくれ。まさきが払うから。
え？
Masuki swallowed his words before he could finish.
年長者が出すのは当たり前だろうが、分かってんだろ？
そりゃま
あ。心配いりませんよ。兄さんのお小遣いを減らせばいいんですから。
Pretty sure you mean my earnings. Thank you very much.
きちんと必要経費の領収書をまとめてからおっしゃってくださいね。
Sometimes my sister's confidence scared me. Hell yeah. That's why she rules. The three of us went in and split up once the museum opened. Okay, now where could Stella be? Oh, wow, that was fast. She was sitting atop a chair, her countenance as enigmatic and sleepy as always, even though the museum had literally only just opened.
よう、ステラ。久しぶり。
I waved as I approached.
誰？
This old song and dance again, huh? Sure brings me back.
用事があるって呼んだのはそっちだろ。
あ、レイジだ。
Stella quickly recognized me and came over.
久しぶり、レイジ。
あは。
I hadn't been to this museum since that incident. Being it had been nearly 2 years.
何の用？
だからお前が呼んだんだろうが。
Much as I was tempted to shout, I knew I couldn't raise my voice in a museum.
あ、うん。心臓なくなったから絵の整理しないと。
Organized, huh? I was instinctively turned to the end of the hall. There hung the painting that started it all. Girl in Shell. Its model had been Misa Nakahara, Toko's mother and spitting image. However, I could only see the girl within as Toko, so much so that I couldn't bear to look at it.
レイジ？
ああ、いや、なんでもない。
空の少女は大きすぎて移動もできないから。
そうか。
本当なら一番しまっておくべきなのかもしれないけど、この絵はトウコの色が強すぎるから。
Stella shot me a look.
君が気にすることじゃないさ。
うん。
Stella feebly nodded.
以前ここにあった間宮心臓の作品はこの空の少女を除き彼のアトリエに保管されています。
That lined up with what Yaginuma had told me.
それの整理を手伝えばいいのか？
Now that Stella was in exposition mode, I had to get as many details out of her as possible.
うん。保管でも売却でも目録を確認しないといけないから。
どうせならここで一塊で保管されてる方がいいな。
Not that I had any basis for that belief.
明日見に行くから。
今日じゃないのか？
明日お休み。今日はまだお仕事
Nope,
中。
I have work today. Days off tomorrow. Seriously, you call snoozing in a chair work?
うん。
Stella hit me, her cheeks inflated as though she read my mind. Wait. Ah, no, I got you, bitch. I got the screenshot. Yeah, I got the screenshot. You thought you could be quick with it. You thought you could quickly fade away. You thought you fucking had me, but just you fucking wait. Just you fucking wait. It's time for a little bit of a detour. I'm gonna be, oh, don't you worry about it. Don't you worry about it, folks. Don't you worry about it. Oh, right, I have to get out of fucking full screen for this goddamn game to let me look at my screen. I guess I want to be a window. No, don't you worry about it. Don't you fucking worry about it. Yeah, show me that screenshot. Show me that screenshot. Yeah. Yeah. Don't you even worry about it. Yo. Translate the Italian for me if you don't mind. Okay, so this first sentence, I just copied and pasted it and posted into Google, but it does come from apparently the first canto of Purgatorio. It's not part of Paradiso. This is actually a sentence from Purgatorio, which then makes sense that he's saying, I'll sing of the second realm. See, like, the first line makes the most sense to me, right? But the problem is, to really get the full context, you need to know what the rest of it is. Because, like, yeah, the first line kind of correlates to where the story is now, I'd say. Right? To run better waters, lifts its sails now, the ship of my witch, which leaves behind a sea so cruel. And, like, kind of what I've been joking about, but has been happening here, in the game, is like people trying to move away from, their trauma, the darkness in their past, and trying to pursue a healthier life, trying to pursue a brighter future and whatnot. And I'll sing of that second realm where the human spirit is purged and to ascend to heaven becomes worthy. But here dead poesy resurrects, O holy muses, then that I am yours, and here Calliope somewhat surges, following my song, with that sound of which the miserable Pice heard blow, such that they despair of forgiveness. I really wish I could better understand that line. Oh, so apparently Pice is supposed to mean magpies. The daughters of Piero, king of Thessaly, once had the audacity to challenge the muses in song. Calliope, however, won them, and for the girls it was immediately clear that defeat would be followed by punishment, quoted as despair of forgiveness. The muse, in fact, turned them into magpies. Okay, interesting. So it's a reference to a different tale. But here dead poesy resurrects. O holy muses, then that I am yours, and here Calliope somewhat surges, following my song with that sound of which the miserable magpies heard, the blow such that they despair of forgiveness. They despair of forgiveness. Okay, here's some kind of like analysis thing. Having left hell behind, Dante will now speak of purgatory, the realm where souls cleanse themselves for heaven. He invokes the muses, specifically Calliope. After the darkness of the infernal realm, the blue skies above purgatory refresh Dante. He's in the southern hemisphere and he sees 4 stars that nobody else has ever seen except for Adam and Eve. I know I'm going off on a tangent. Now that I've looked at like the word to word translation, I'm looking at these other translations, right? And it has these first 4 lines, right? To course across more kindly waters now, my talent's little vessel lifts her sails, leaving behind herself a sea so cruel. And what I sing will be that second kingdom in which the human soul is cleansed of sin, becoming worthy of ascent to heaven. But here, since I am yours, O holy muses, may this poem rise again from hell's dead realm, and may Calliope rise somewhat here, accompanying my singing with that music whose power struck the poor Pierides so forcefully that they despaired of pardon. It's essentially, so like it's at the very beginning of Purgatorio, right? This line is. It's essentially a line about rising out of hell. Now that I've left hell behind and am heading towards something better, he's like asking the muses to. What is he asking of the muses? That is the question. Welcome to. You thought we were playing a visual novel today. No, we're doing a literary analysis. That's what we're doing today. Literary analysis. Lock in, boys. So it looks like he's asking. May this poem rise again from hell's dead realm and make Calliope rise somewhat here, accompanying my singing with that music whose power struck. So it almost sounds like he's calling to the muses to give his poem to, I don't know, enhance his poem, this song that he leaves behind, so that maybe his final words ring out stronger. Ultimately, the whole fucking reason I went through this whole process of translating and looking at this and seeing what it all connects to is seeing how it can connect the story. And I do see, like, obviously, I've already said, I do see how the first line connects to the story, leaving behind a cruel sea in search of kinder waters, the ship of my wits. And I hope to ascend to the kingdom where the human soul is cleansed of sin. That kind of checks out for a couple of the characters, right? Like Mosky has his own sins he's dealt with. Reiji, of course. Obviously, they've reintroduced Fuyumi back to the story, and as it's already stated, she has her own sins. So, like, the lines definitely apply to a lot of the characters. Trying to ascend where the soul is cleansed of sin. I guess trying to cope with their sins more than anything. But it's these last few lines, these last few verses, I suppose, that kind of throw me for a loop, that I don't quite see how it ties in with the story. I don't know, maybe it'll make a bit more sense by the end of it. Maybe it's not meant to make sense. Maybe they're just like, hey, throw in some extra lines. I definitely do see how the first two, like, chunks, the first 6 lines, tie in with what we've seen so far with the story. I do see that much. That much checks out. I get it. So anyway, now that I've gone on my long ass fucking literary analysis tangent, mayhaps we go back to the game. Mayhaps. Mosky went to an exhibit room with Yukari after parting ways with Reiji. There, he found an assembly of paintings, clearly different from the museum's permanent repertoire. The techniques and skills these ones reflected paled in comparison to those. Still, Mosky found them all fresh and vibrant.
すごいもんだな。
I certainly couldn't draw anything this good nowadays.
やはり皆さんうまいです。
Nah, but let's see Yukari's. Yukari followed him in and wasted no time taking stock of the paintings.
この絵は水彩画なんですね。
水の表現がいいね。何度も重ね塗りをして深さを出している。
こちらの絵もいいです。
Yukari heaved a
どう
sigh.
したんだ。
自分の絵が並んでいることを考えたら、
そんなことないさ。
まだ見つけてませんけれど。
Yukari looked up and scanned the hall.
ありました。
Yeah,
どれだい。
show me. Yukari pointed at one of the paintings. Depicted a lone woman frolicking with a host of butterflies.
マグダラのマリアを描いたつもりです。
Oh, right. The painting she had been working. Wait, no. Didn't she say she had submitted this a while ago? Because I thought that's the painting she was working on in the last game. Because I remember Yukiko looking over and being like, oh, she's drawing the
これは
Mary.
油彩かい。
ええ。できる限り薄く塗るように心がけました。
Yukari hung her head.
いいと思うよ。
ただ、
For a moment, Mosky wondered if he should hold his tongue instead.
自分も素人のようなものだから的外れかもしれないけれど。
But ultimately, he decided to be
この
honest.
構図なら人物に焦点を当てるべきだと思うんだ。
やっぱりそうですよね。ありがとうございます。
Yukari
い
bowed.
や、お礼を言われるようなことじゃないよ。
Mosky hastily shook his head.
いえ、自分でも気になっていたところですから、指摘してもらえて嬉しいです。
Yukari grinned mirthfully.
さあ、他の方の絵も見ていきましょう。
And with that, she dragged Masaki away. But I wanted to see Yukari's painting. Show me the painting.
この絵も綺麗ですね。聖母マリアのようです。
The painting depicted Mary cradling a baby. Jesus. Though it looked like a typical religious piece at first glance, the truth was actually far more complicated. Yeah? For the features of the woman based on the Virgin Mary were in fact Asian. Japanese to be exact. Yeah, I can't help but notice she kind of reminds me of that co-worker from before. That Masaki's old co-worker who works at the gallery. You take the glasses off and I feel like there's a striking resemblance there. If Masaki had to guess, someone had probably modeled for this painting. Oh no. That never ends well. While the brushstrokes behind the oil paints were fueled by evident passion, the painting itself radiated a delicate aura in spite of that.
あら、この人。
Yukari's voice trailed off after she noticed the artist's name beneath the painting.
知っている人かい？
ええ、私が大魔女学院に入る前に一緒だった子です。
Oh? The label read White Camellia, Tokyo Fine Art School, Chie Kuboi. Alright, okay. Interesting. So that's obviously the art student that Masaki ran into earlier that gave him the sketch of Naori. Okay. Very interested to see how you tie into the story now.
あれ？
どうかなさいましたか？
どこかで名前を聞いた覚えがあるような。
But where? When?
ああ、そうだ。聞き込みをしている時に会ったんだ。まさか君の知り合いだったとはね。
With skills as adroit as these, it was hardly a surprise her sketch of Naori had been spectacular.
すでに会っていらしたのですね。
そうみたいだね。しかし、専門の教育を受けている人か。
ええ、
Yukari nodded.
昔はよく一緒に絵を描いていたんです。もっとも子供のいたずら書き程度でしたけれど。
Her brow crinkled wistfully.
その頃から絵はうまかったんです。私も彼女のように絵が描けるようになりたいと思ってました。先生が良かったのです。
I kind of figured she was going to show up. Someone abruptly chimed in from behind.
What?
Masaki turned around to find a familiar girl garbed in uniform.
ちえちゃん、お久しぶりなのです、ゆかりちゃん。
The girl, Chie Kuboi, bowed to Yukari.
ええ、本当に久しぶり。元気でしたか？おかげさまで健やかなのです。はい、何ですか？こちらの方はゆかりちゃんの恋人なのですか？違いますよ。
An unperturbed Yukari answered without so much as missing a beat.
あれ？じゃあお兄さんでしたか？兄と一緒に働いているまさきさんです。
Yukari gestured to Masaki with a flourish of the hand.
よろしく。先週新宿で会ったよね。
そうでした？
Chie cocked her head.
ほら、探し人の絵を描いてもらった。
Masaki produced a folded piece of paper from his pocket.
ああ、そんなこともあったのです。
いや、芳しくないよ。
Masaki shrugged. He'd been searching constantly since then, but hadn't uncovered so much as a single sighting of Naori.
やはり似ていないのかもしれないです。
Chie's shoulders slumped.
いや、そんなことないよ。実際に会っている身からすればそっくりだ。
では、探し方が悪いのです。
Oh, then you must be fucking up. Damn, Chie. Masaki couldn't refute that.
ちえちゃん、先ほど先生がいいと言っていましたよね。やはり専門校は違いますか？
Chie shook her head.
家庭教師の先生に教えてもらっているのです。
絵の家庭教師。
はい。
Chie nodded as if it weren't anything special.
美術の専門といってもピンからキリまでいるのです。やる人はやるし、やる気のない人も多くいるのです。それでも羨ましいです。ねえちえちゃん、この辺りの塗り方を教えてくださいませんか？
Yukari pointed to a part of the painting.
ああ、これはですね。
Chie gesticulated fervently as she explained. She was more animated than she'd been with Masaki, though perhaps that was no surprise, considering she and Yukari went way back.
この辺りは地塗りから変えているのです。
ここの色はどう出しているんですか？
それは先生が作ってくれた絵の具を使っているのです。
へえ。
Yeah, this tutor of yours sounds very
しえ
interesting.
ちゃんの先生は
Your tutor sound like she might be up to something.
すごいのです。
Chia's eyes voice brimmed with pride.
館内ではお静かに。
Moments later, they were remonstrated by an approaching employee, Stella.
申し訳あり。
Yukari
あ
bowed.
れステラさん、時坂さんに用事があったのでは。
Despite that, there was neither hide nor hair of Reiji to be found.
レイジ？先に帰っててって言ってた。
Oh, does he have more work to do or something?
仕方ありませんね。旧友とも再会できましたし、場所を移してもう少しお話ししましょうか。
私は構わないのです。
吉祥寺にある喫茶店なのですが、よろしい
Yeah!
ですか？
Let's up the cafe!
もちろんなのです。
Chia nodded.
じゃあ自分はこれで失礼するよ。
You wouldn't want to be a third wheel to a reunion of old friends after all.
まさきさん、お仕事があるのですか？
いや、そういうわ。
私はいても別に構わないのです。
絵の話をしたいので、いてもらっても構いませんか？
まあ、別に構わないよ。
Masaki had no reason to refuse once they both given the green light. Thus, the three of them took their leave of Bueno.